This presentation is for you, PMP aspirants. It is a summary and does not cover any detail in it. Use it as final revision notes for the PMP exam. Business Environment Fundamental. Project. A temporary endeavor started to increase business value, which will support the organization's strategy. Operation. An ongoing activity. When projects are completed, they are transferred to the operations team. Program. A collection of related projects, whereas a portfolio is a collection of projects, programs, and operations. In a functional organization, the functional manager retains 100% control, while the project expeditor has no authority. In a project-oriented organization, the project manager holds complete control over resource management. In a weak matrix structure, the functional manager retains greater control. However, the project coordinator holds more authority compared to the project expeditor, who has zero control. In a strong matrix, the project manager is in charge. In a balanced matrix, both the project manager and functional manager have equal control. If conflicts arise, they escalate it to the sponsor for resolution. The PMO serves supportive, controlling, and directive functions. Supportive aspects include offering tools, techniques, and training. Controlling involves audits in addition to support. In the directive role, the PMO guides the day-to-day activities of the project manager. The business case primarily focuses on tangible monetary aspects, while the benefit management plan encompasses intangible elements. Both documents are part of the pre-project activities. The project charter initiates the project, serving as the first document. It requires approval from the sponsor, granting the project manager the authority to execute the project. Once a project charter is created, the first step is to review it and share it with key stakeholders to ensure they understand what is expected of them. Project charter, business case, and benefit management plan cannot be changed once approved. Any changes would necessitate starting a new project. The governance board decides whether a project will proceed or stop. If the business case becomes invalid at any point, they review it and may opt to cancel the project. All compliance requirements are considered as negative risks and documented in the risk register. The assumption log contains a list of constraints and assumptions. In project management, the work is done across 5 process groups. Initiation. We create 3 documents: project charter, assumption log, and stakeholder register. Planning. We plan for the entire project. We make 18 plans, and once the plans are approved, we start working on them. At this point, we decide if we are going to have a predictive or agile life cycle. Execution. We do the work, train team members, handle their conflicts, and manage issues. Monitoring and control. We compare plans and the work done. If a plan is not effective and needs an update, we raise a change request through a process called Integrated Change Control, where the Change Control Board approves the change request. Closing. Once the deliverables or projects are accepted or rejected, it's necessary to formally close the project. How to engage stakeholders in PMP. 1. Identify stakeholders using expert judgment, focus group, workshop, OPA, and EEFS. 2. Put the stakeholder in the stakeholder register. 3. Start stakeholder analysis. Analyze the stakeholder using upward, downward, sideward. 4. Prioritize stakeholders using a power interest matrix, stakeholder cube, or salience model. 5. Once the stakeholder register is updated and criticized, initiation is completed. 6. Make a stakeholder engagement plan with strategies to engage stakeholders. 7. Use SEM stakeholder engagement matrix in the stakeholder plan, checking stakeholders' current and desired engagement state. 8. Once the stakeholder plan with strategies to engage them is approved by the sponsor or change control board, start implementing it. 9. Review the plan to ensure its validity for monitoring and control purposes. If the plan is found to be inadequate, raise a change request to update it accordingly. 10. Whenever a new stakeholder is identified, they are added to the stakeholder register. Subsequently, a change request is raised to update the stakeholder plan, communication plan, and resource management plan. Finally, the assumption log is updated accordingly. 11. Continuously assess the effectiveness of your plan and make modifications as necessary. How to communicate in project. All the communication in the project will follow the communication management plan. The communication management plan will have the 4R of communication: right information, right time, right people to have the right impact. It basically covers who needs information, when they need it, why they need it, how the communication will be delivered to them, how communication will be stored, and how the information will be discarded after use, including which artifact will be used for it. Determine the communication needs of each stakeholder based on cultural sensitivities, political awareness, and communication requirements, then incorporate them into the communication plan. Face-to-face communication is always preferred, and whenever a virtual team has a challenge in communication, try to have them co-locate at least for one time or one meeting. Use pull, push, and interactive communication, or a combination of them as required. Whenever communicating, understanding the political awareness and cultural awareness is important. Work performance data is raw information produced in execution, which gets converted into work performance information in the monitoring and control process. The project manager combines them in integration as a work performance report, and this is shared with all stakeholders according to the communication management plan. Virtual teams have their benefits, but their challenges must be addressed by using interactive boards and information radiators. Communication channels are calculated as NN12, where N is the number of participants. Steps to lead and manage team. 1. Identify which type of resources and skills you need for the project using SWOT analysis and project requirements. 2. Identify if you want to go for a virtual team, physical team, or hybrid team. Consider the pros and cons of each option. 3. Hire team members according to the skills needed for the project. 4. Create a team charter outlining ground rules, conflict resolution procedures, decision-making processes, and the project's vision. 5. At the beginning, when the team is in the forming stage, provide them with the necessary direction to initiate work. 6. Over time, conflicts may arise within the team, indicating the storming stage. Here, you'll act as a coach, employing active listening and emotional intelligence to comprehend the conflict's context, considering the 5 levels of conflict and applying various conflict management techniques as required for the project. 7. If conflict is managed effectively, we will progress to the norming stage where the team starts understanding each other's habits. Continuous support is essential at this stage to ensure the team remains on track. 8. Understand different motivational theories. Maslow, Herzberg theory, theory X and theory Y, halo effect, expectancy theory, Michelland theory. 9. Finally, in the performing stage, the team is highly competent and can be delegated tasks while being monitored, resembling a laissez-faire leadership style. 10. Once the work is completed, the team will be released to pursue future projects. 11. You need to have a servant leader mindset, act like a mother figure to guide and support the team and remove any roadblocks they may have throughout the project. 12. Training needs assessment. Identifying training requirements is a continuous process for team development. You may have to coach, train, and mentor them at any stage. As a general rule, you may have to train the entire team at the beginning, and as the project progresses, you may have to train individual team members. 13. The resource management plan will guide how you acquire, develop, manage, and release teams. 14. The resource management plan will also have budgeted and planned training for the project, as well as details regarding rewards and recognition for project accomplishments. 15. The resource calendar will define when resources will be available. 16. RAC, I will tell you who is responsible for the project, who is accountable, whom to inform, and who to consult. 17. RAM Responsibility Assignment Matrix will only share who is responsible for the project. 18. As a PMI project manager, you will always train team members and never fire the team. Scope management. 1. Make a requirement management plan. 2. Collect requirements using expert judgment, focus group, prototype, OPA, EF, interview, value stream mapping, and context diagram. 3. Put all requirements in the RTM requirement traceability matrix and requirement documentation. 4. Using the scope management plan, separate product and project scope. 5. You have the project scope statement. 6. Decompose scope using decomposition techniques, and you have WBS work breakdown structure and WBS dictionary. 7. Project scope statement, WBS, and WBS dictionary are called scope baselines, which require formal approval. 8. If you want to change scope, you have to raise a change request and follow the change management plan. 9. When the client approves deliverables according to the scope baseline, it is called validated or accepted deliverables. Schedule management. 1. Create a schedule management plan which will outline the software we are going to use and additional relevant details. 2. Continuing from where we left off in scope management, we'll break down work packages into lists of activities, along with their attributes, and compile a list of milestones. 3. Check activities relationships. Finish to start FS, start to start SS, start to finish SF, finish to finish FF. 4. Verify activity dependencies, including mandatory and discretionary dependencies, both internal and external. 5. Check the duration of each activity using analogous, parametric, bottom-up estimation, and three-point estimation. 6. Use the critical path method to calculate duration and schedule baselines. 7. If you want to reduce the schedule, use schedule compression techniques. Crashing adding resources will add more cost and fast tracking. It will make activities parallel, but will increase rework. 8. Use resource optimization techniques, resource leveling and resource smoothing to manage resources. 9. Crashing, fast tracking, and resource leveling will require a formal change request. Cost management. 1. Make a cost management plan. This specifies details like which currency we can use, what our tolerance and threshold limits are, plus rough estimates and definite estimates, and whether we are doing self-financing or someone is supporting us. 2. Make funding limit reconciliation. 3. Using the same techniques as used in the schedule, calculate the cost of each activity and then add a contingency reserve cost set aside for identified risks. This becomes the cost baseline. Cost baselines equals cost of activities plus contingency reserves. 4. Project budget equals cost baselines plus management reserves. Management reserves cost of unidentified risks that management puts aside. Note, you need to raise a change request to access management reserves. 5. Use earned value analysis to measure how you are doing cost and schedule-wise. 6. Schedule performance index SPI equals earned value EV planned value PV. Greater than 1 is a good thing. 7. Cost performance index CPI equals of actual cost AC. Greater than 1 is a good thing. 8. Schedule variance SV equals EV-PV. 0 is on schedule, positive is ahead of schedule, and negative is behind schedule. 9. Cost variance CV equals EV-AC. 0 is on budget, positive is within the budget limit, and negative is over budget. 10. If your project is going out of budget, use estimate at completion EAC equals BAC CPI. 11. To complete performance index TCPI equals work remaining fund remaining back EV back AC. TCPI greater than 1 is a bad thing. Scope, schedule, and cost baselines together are called performance baselines.